The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
And welcome to the Writer's Block Podcast NH. I'm Deborah Monk, empowering you to find your creative voice.
And I'm Shelly Devlin, inspiring you to find your why.
And last week, we talked about why most memoirs fail. And this week, since Shelly and I both are authors who have completed our memoir, we're going to talk about what we've learned through the process. And Shelly and I have also prepared 3 questions for each other that we haven't told each other, and we're going to ask about that. But first, how does it feel to have finished?
Amazing.
Yes?
I mean, amazing. Because,
Right.
I mean, when you say you're done, you're not really done.
Right.
But I feel like I am done. I have read it and reread it. I can't tell you how many times. I've put it down for a month and then gone to reread just in this past week. And
you're happy with it?
I was amazingly happy. Amazing.
Right.
Nodding, laughing, smiling, crying, like everything was perfect.
And so even after last week's show, you feel like this is good and you're ready to put it out.
I'm ready to put it out.
All right. Well, and then I, on the other hand,
Deb.
well, you know, I have written my memoir. I've sent it to the editor. It's come back. I've worked on it. I've rewritten it, and it's going to stay in the drawer for now.
It is.
It is.
You're going to put it in the bottom drawer and just
Yes. And,
shut the drawer.
And I'm fine with that because I completely.
Well, is yours done as well?
Yeah.
It's done. You're happy with it.
Well, no, I'm not happy.
she's
I mean,
not-
I'm happy with it in that I learned something. So
You're happy with it as a piece of work. You're not
Yes.
happy with it as an author, and don't feel like anyone should be reading it.
I think it's more personal for you. No?
Yeah, there isn't enough for the reader. I don't believe there's enough for the reader to take out of the book. So what I did is I brought the end of so the book, for me, the book started with the question, because I've never thought that I'm an interesting person, but I thought the question that I asked, the question that I've been asking
Yes.
all my life is
Yes.
interesting, which is passion or security. And that I have spent my life going in one direction or in the other, and both directions have gotten me into trouble. And I've blamed them both many times in my life on my unhappiness. I've gone too much passion and my life imploded and I wasn't even really safe anymore. And then I went to too much security and I was mind-numbingly bored and wanted to, I thought I've got to cut my wrist or I'm going to die a slow, mediocre life. And that was really, that is the first 40 years of my life. That is how I've lived. So to me, that question of passion or security is very interesting. So it was only by writing the book that I actually came up with an answer for myself. So I thought I would just read the end since no one's going to read this book. It says rabbit hole, ... because we all know I love my ellipses.
Me too.
I feel like, I feel like I've finally gone through the rabbit hole, the one I was circling, dipping my toe in, going in halfway, but holding on so tight so that I couldn't go all the way in and lose control. As my alter ego, Alice in Wonderland, says, in every woman's life, there comes a point when she has to choose, stay safe or stay true. Now I know it isn't about safe or true. It's about being safe and true. I am finally ready. I peel my scared and frozen fingers loose and finally slip in. It's like a closed tube slide at the water park, and of course, the inside is black and white diamond harlequin pattern of the Alice in Wonderland hole. The slide wasn't as long or as scary as I thought it would be. And when I come out on the other side, my legs catch me and I stand a bit wobbly, a bit stunned, because it's a huge empty playground. A long abandoned park with a peeling wooden coaster that leans precariously to the left in the shadows of the horizon. This is Wonderland? This is what I've been so scared of? More importantly, this is what I've tried so hard to get to. I've come far enough on this journey not to judge too quickly. The fact that it's so empty makes it easy to be disappointed, but I've learned enough to know not to get distracted by the obvious. I wait, I stand still, and slowly I see the emptiness in front of me, the beauty of the stillness, a blank slate that no longer scares me. Standing alone, staring at the blank canvas, the empty field, the unfiltered potential, and my imagination starts building things. A coffee shop with a little country store for our fabulous writing group to meet. A shoe store that sells only bunny slippers, waterproof ones for the rain and some with suede bottoms for dancing. In my world, bunny slippers go with everything, simply because how can you not be happy wearing bunny slippers? The lesson here is that finding the courage to go through the rabbit hole was just the beginning, and the other side is way crazier than I even imagined. The other side of the rabbit hole is the opportunity to create the playground of my life. I had no idea that one of my best traits, one I didn't even know I had, didn't even know was a trait, and somehow I haven't forgotten what I knew to be true when I was little. Somehow I've managed to put that nugget of wisdom in my pocket and carry it through time with me, carrying it through growing up, holding on to it even while getting hurt and losing my way, grasping it tighter while the whole world told me it wasn't real. They say youth is wasted on the young, but that's maybe because we don't hold on to our beliefs of what wasn't real then, but what we knew as a child could be real. I knew I could be a writer. I knew I could create a world on my own terms. I had no concept that writing this book would teach me to bring forth the things I believed but never allowed to manifest into this world. When I was writing this book, I was hoping to inspire you to live a life with passion. I had no idea it was going to challenge me to live passion even bigger than I did before. I had no idea that the dream I've cared about since before I can remember would be a launch pad into a whole new world, or more accurately, a return ticket to a world I dreamt of when I was young. I didn't realize different parts of my life were just different songs playing, and that one song didn't end, and it didn't mean there wouldn't be another one to dance to. This isn't the beginning. This isn't the end. It's a whole new beginning. And I have to be honest, I'm loving that I didn't know how this book would end, that I'm learning it as I write, that I'm revealing more to myself than to anyone else. So for me, writing the memoir gave me an answer to the question I started with. I just, when I look back, I don't feel confident enough that there's enough magic or wisdom in it for a reader. And so for that reason, I'm not going to put it out yet.
So this is what I think. I think that this might be the end of the memoir you're going to put in the drawer, but I think that this chapter is the beginning in 10 years of the memoir you're going to write. Because I haven't heard this, because you've put this together. We haven't heard the end. Amanda and I have not heard the end in detail, that you're done, that you're now officially going to put that in the drawer. But this sounds like, this is lighter. This is sunny. This has got rainbows and butterflies, and it keeps rainbows and butterflies, where sometimes those rainbows and butterflies got dark again. I think this is the beginning, and you're just not ready. You just need to wait another 10 years.
Yeah, but hopefully I'll have a great 10 years, and then that would be that memoir of a great 10 years. Who wants to read that?
Nobody.
Nobody, right.
No, I don't think that's true.
Well, anyway. So, Shelly, let's do our questions.
Okay.
Do you want to go first or second?
Well,
don't you go
you
first?
just read that,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
why did you originally sit down to write this memoir? Which I think you just basically told us in the beginning. But what did you learn through writing it? Like, what did you think you were writing it for? And then in the end, you realized...
Oh, no, I knew exactly what I was writing for. I mean,
Okay.
the beginning of it is I chose passion once and it nearly killed me.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I started it when I was in my 40s, and I was fairly unhappy. Because I was struggling with that. Mm-hmm. I had traded passion for security, and for many years, or for quite a few years, that worked. I was happy. So my 20s were all about passion. Mm-hmm. And I lived this fabulous life as a ballroom dancer, traveling around the world, dancing in feathers and rhinestones, and that was wonderful. And then I spent my 30s recovering from that when my life imploded. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I mean, in the memoir, I remember writing that if I could go back in time, that I would go up to and twice in the memoir I talk about it. In my 20s, I would go back into my 7th grade class when I had this idea that I could live life on my own terms, and I was going to go back in my ball gown and tell and congratulate my little 7th grade self that, you did it, you found your way to happiness. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote again in my 30s, I would go back and I would slap her in the face. And because
what a thing to play out in front of a 7th grader.
I was good.
Your older self comes in and says, "Hey, listen, you made it." And then the older self comes in and punches her in the face.
Exactly.
That's a movie I would watch.
I was going to say, it sounds like a good movie, doesn't
Very
it?
violent, but I love it.
Really? Well, that's in the book.
Well, maybe it's going to be a movie and not a memoir.
Oh my God. All right. Don't get me distracted. I'm totally. What was the question?
She's going to go home and email.
Then the even older one comes in and she bangs the two heads together and says, "You two bitches stop arguing with each other." So
the 7th grade talks to the older two or something? I don't know. I didn't have a third part. And so I knew,
Why did you write it?
Yeah, so I knew I was writing it. The thing is, when I started, I really believed the question was or. I honestly 100%, and it seems so silly that I thought it was only, because it's a spectrum to me. You either go towards passion, which is away from security, or you go towards security, which is away from passion. So
you know what she's made fun of me for our entire marriage that I think she's starting to understand?
What is that?
Balance. She calls it flatlining, but
I was just going to say.
I got a fair dose of passion, and I've got a fair dose of feeling secure, and I can live in both worlds.
In balance.
Balance.
Mm. I do see that Deb sees that as flatlining.
I do. I call it flatlining. I call it middle of the road. I'd rather be roadkill than stuck in the middle of the road waiting for the truck to come. I'm this little bunny sitting in the middle of the road with my cute little cottontail and my cute little ears, my bunny slippers, just waiting. And I'm thinking, truck, please come hit me.
I think everyone can now understand why we get along so well.
or not.
So now that you're on the other side of this, because I remember several times that... there was a couple of times, but what was your favorite and your least favorite part of this entire process?
Foul. That's 2 questions.
Okay. What was your...
I'm just kidding.
I want to go least favorite then.
What was my least favorite of writing this?
And have you forgotten already?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But it's a tie.
Okay.
You want my 2 least favorites. One of them is you and one of them is Mandra.
I know.
Which one do you want first? I'll give you first.
Okay.
So Shelly and I, Shelly, I love Shelly, but we're sitting at our table at our writers' thing.
And we're new.
And we don't know each other as well as we do now. And so she's been reading my pages. I've been giving her my heart and soul,
vomiting it on the page.
The page.
Yeah.
And she, at one point, she turns to me and she says, "Do you want to say it again, bitch?" With love, total love.
Deb, are you a writer or an author?
No, a writer or an author.
I mean, are you a dancer?
No, you didn't even say that. You're like, oh, and I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to say it in this voice that you did not say it in, but this is how much it hurt my feelings. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were a really good dancer.
No, that's not what I see.
Yes, that is what you said.
Memory. The memory twist.
No, that's what you said because you only really knew me as a writer. You had read Searching for Julia Stone and you loved that. Mm-hmm. And so you knew me as a good writer. And so you just thought I kind of did dancing on the side. And so you said, I can still hear it. And in my head, that's how it sounds.
No.
I didn't know you were a really good dancer.
You talk about your passion of being a dancer.
Yes.
And everything I've heard from you is your passion of being a writer. And I was confused. I was like, wait a second.
This is my memory.
You used to be a famous writer.
I'm confused as to why that statement even matters.
It hurt my...
She cried.
It hurt your...
She cried.
I cried.
Jonathan, she cried.
Yes.
I didn't even know her that well.
She didn't even know that she didn't know you.
That's what hurt. Like, that's kind of like what hurt my feelings. Yeah, because I didn't even
think about it. It just came out because I was just
that she had no idea that like dancing was half of me. I thought if she doesn't know me, I'm a dancer, she doesn't know half of me. Anyway, this is my memory. It hurt my feelings.
Fine.
The other one was we were in the kitchen. We were at a different place where we usually meet at the kitchen. And Mandra said, just like Jonathan just said, in my desperate search for how do I live a life of, what do I do, passion or security, where I was frozen in the middle for many years, afraid to go back to passion and afraid, because passion had broken my heart and security was slowly suffocating me. And I thought, which way do I want to go die is basically how I was feeling. And Mandra said, well, Deb, again, you don't get the voices.
Yeah, she makes us sound like
well, Deb, why don't you go on vacation for 2 weeks? Because that was going to ignite my passion. Like, I'm not an idiot who works a job 50 weeks of the year unhappy and then goes on vacation for 2 weeks. Just kill me now. Yeah.
Wow, this podcast just became someone's therapy.
Seriously?
She asked me what were my 2 least favorite or my least favorite. Those are tied.
Well, now I have to revamp my last question.
The good thing is they were moments, they were moments that were breakthroughs that helped me get to my answer, that helped me get to this answer, which the rabbit hole is not a vacation for 2 weeks, by the way, Mandra, in case you're listening.
Okay, who flies to Bali and sits in a nest?
Yeah, you're all verklempt over there.
She's bringing back that memory loud and clear.
Couldn't just the pendulum just not swing so far and just go 25% over into passion.
No.
25% into security.
That is not no.
I know
no.
Deb better
That
now.
is
No.
yes, no.
So you wrote this, and your takeaway is you still got to pick one?
No. My takeaway is not simply vacation. My takeaway, and
No one's talking about Mandra's vacation comment.
okay, I'm just saying.
You can leave that, and you can leave her comment about not knowing you're a dancer off to the side and deal with that on your own time. Answer my question, damn it.
What's the question?
Which one is it?
Well, I will tell you, but you can't make fun of it.
I make no promises.
Because for me, this was huge. This was life-changing. Everybody who knows me, you both know me now very well. You know that my 50s have been so much happier than my 40s. And everybody who knows me would agree with that. Right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Okay. So so that's why I don't want to put this book out, because I know the answer was the resolution to that question, passion or security, was magnificent and life-changing for me. So you have to promise not to make fun of it.
Promise, Jonathan.
I promise.
Come on, you can do it.
The answer is and. It's passion and security. That I am at a point in my life where I can have both. Now, maybe I couldn't have done it when I was younger, or maybe I just didn't do it when I was younger, that somewhere along the way I picked up that belief that it was one or the other. But I am discovering that it is and.
So the answer to my question that I asked, 5 minutes ago is yes, that the pendulum doesn't have to swing all the way. You can have both.
See,
it just swings back and forth.
No.
See, I think that's her thing. And inside her very creative mind is that it really needs to be like
100.
There is balance.
There is balance.
But there needs to be that.
Yes.
It's not how math works, but
it is how math works.
That's how your brain works, then that's okay.
Yes. So hanging in the middle is one stagnant stillness version of balance. That's the middle of the road. That's happy. That's going on vacation.
But so
twice a
is
year.
the pendulum swinging back and forth. Is another version of balance.
Exactly. And that's the one I didn't know existed. And that's the one I'm finding.
Okay, but whatever. I said
All right,
I wouldn't make fun of you, and I won't.
Okay, thank you. And I know it's difficult for you.
All right, is it time to shit on Shelly yet?
I hope so.
This is what's straining my marriage.
Oh, God.
I'm going to shoot him. That's the only way it's straining your marriage. All right, just what was your third question?
My third question, which I'll have to revamp, though, is will it ever come out of the drawer? Do you think?
Probably.
Okay.
In a whole nother version.
So you're not going to burn it. You're just going to put it in a drawer.
Oh, no. We're going to talk about it next week on our third installment of Memoir podcasts.
I mean, okay. So
that was his dig.
So
all right.
Now.
What do you got for me?
Shirley.
Shirley.
Surely you can't be serious.
Shirley is. Wow.
Shirley, are you a hairdresser? Or are you a writer? Okay. Here are my three questions. What did you learn? Hurt? I hope not.
Okay.
Your questions were great.
Thanks.
What did you learn about yourself through writing the memoir that you didn't know or weren't aware of before?
Okay. Well, I think it was my brother's chapter. It was writing my brother's chapter was, and honestly, this was in the complete reread. So this has been more clear within the last week, is that how could I have been a better sister when I just thought he was a pain in the ass and a big wall, is what could I have done? That's what I learned. I know, Deb loves crying.
Oh, I hate it, though. There is no crying in podcasts.
Is we put those stereotypes onto people. So we expect, I did it with my mom. When I had my son, my youngest brother was only 10 years old. So I expected my mom to be the grandmother that I had, that I spent weekends with. She was a mom to a 10-year-old, a second grader. So that stereotype that we put on people, when we could just have a simple conversation and say, what do you expect from me as a sister? And this is what I expect from you, from a brother. I know.
Yeah,
I knew that she was going to buck that one. I know. I am saying that to the wrong person for sure.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
We write about our feelings in this family. We don't talk about them.
But I could have that conversation with you
Yes.
easily
I
and
know.
say, what do you expect from me as a friend?
Yeah, but she ain't
Why
having
is
it
that
with you.
so easy?
She's not having it with you. She's going to
She
write
wouldn't?
about you in her memoir, just not
Okay.
send you those pages.
Well, I'm excited about
And
that.
then I'm going to
Next
give you a
question.
voice. All right. What is a specific reader, which that one could apply to this too, but so you have to come up with a different answer.
Okay.
What is a specific message the reader will get from reading as the chair turns?
Oh, I know. That was my original message in writing
Yeah.
the entire book was that your past does not dictate your future. That no matter what has happened to you, where you come from, your family issues, whatever you've grown up and something tragic has happened, that doesn't dictate how far you can go. You can be and do whoever you want to be and do. It just doesn't set the bar.
Which is a
Like
great,
if you wanted to have a balance in your life between
Yes.
passion
Yes.
and
security.
security,
Yes.
you could do
You
that.
could do it.
Even
You
if
could.
your pendulum has swung all the way on both sides.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's a good lesson. That wasn't making fun of you.
it wasn't making fun of me.
All
but-
right. So I have stuck to the agreement. That's
but
all
what
that
I would
matters.
I have something to propose to you.
He's riding the line.
Put my knife away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hide this.
No
Honest,
more tennis for you.
it's been raining. They took the nets down.
Oh boy. And it keeps
Number
going.
3.
Okay.
And third question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much harder was writing a memoir than you thought it would be?
11.
I know. You came into this and I thought that you would be, I thought maybe you were going to do it easier than anyone else. I thought if anybody can do this easily, it's going to be Shelly.
Oh,
And no, it hasn't been easy.
no.
Right.
It has not been easy at all.
Right.
Because memoir life keeps happening as well. So you can pick your 20 stories that you want to talk about.
Or
and then
yeah, your time.
someone else might beat their way to the front of the line, you know?
Right.
So
Well,
mhm.
that was, whew, yeah, that
Deb's
was
fired up. Her
that was
blood
a
pressure's
great
a little
show.
up there. I'm telling you. Do you think our readers are going to write their memoirs now? It's a 50-50 chance.
I think if they're thinking about writing a memoir, they should go back and listen to last week's show and make sure that as they go into it, it's a lot easier if you're clear on your roadmap. Now, if you're a pantser like me, it's a little bit harder, but the more you are, the better. The more you know, the better.
Agreed.
So, well, thank you. Thank you for allowing us this
Good cry.
this deep sharing with you. If you want to hear this episode again or share it with a friend, send them to UnitedPodcastNetwork.tv. That's UnitedPodcastNetwork.tv. You can find this podcast and the vodcast in video on demand in case you want to watch Shelly or I tear up. Find this episode and all previous episodes on UnitedPodcastNetwork.tv, and please subscribe. And we do promise someday we will make Jonathan cry.
That ain't happening.
Love it.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.